You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 9th day of October, 2018. Hope you're having a great Tuesday, whoever you are, wherever you are. What matters is you're right here, right now, with us, and well, we're very glad, ecstatic, some might say, to have you with us. Thanks for joining. Now, if you're returning, welcome back. If you are new, this is your first time, I want to welcome you, but I also want to encourage you to ask as many questions as you like throughout the show about anything we discuss. The market, the charts, the indicators, the methodology, whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart, type it into the chat box. Only myself and Michael see what you type. Bert, if he's in, he could see it too. But don't hold back. I mean, you're obviously here because you want to become a consistently profitable trader. We can Michael and I could sit here and just talk all day long about all that we do and have done and where we're going. But what really matters is where you are on your trading journey. Maybe you're still on the hunt, room to room, every shiny indicator that comes down the pike. Maybe you've graduated beyond that. Maybe you've now entered the boom and bust cycle. You do real good for 3 weeks, 3 months, and then in 3 days, you lose your mind and give it back. Which comes first, losing of the mind or losing of the money? It's a real chicken and egg kind of a question, but we're here to help. So when you put something in the chat box, it's not for us to judge you. It's for us to understand where you are and to provide the kind of information that you need. So whatever it is, don't hesitate. Please don't be shy. Right? Very good. Now, I managed to harm my platform. Well, it's not really a platform, is it? Well, some of you have probably used it before. Just so, there we go. Huh. See, that's all it took. I just had to admit my faults, which are many, and boom, baby. I was able to close it, and it's important that I close it so that I can see everything else in my browser. But I was just working on a little thing when I looked up and realized, oh me, oh my, I'm late for a most important date. Except my browser still wants to cut up. Everything a trader needs, one low price. Is this a cheap commercial? Well, it's not cheap. Report shows 9 out of 10 traders fail. Now, Futures Magazine published this many years ago, and I've yet to see anyone contest that statement. Now, they were speaking about the general population, people who are in some kind of training, it's not happening, or they're trying to go it on their own, they've blown up a few accounts. But the bottom line, the Futures Magazine, when they did their research and made this report, they never said why. I'm sure some smart guy somewhere said, well, because it's a zero-sum game. Yeah, well, let's not have that argument today. But the single reason 9 out of 10 traders fail outside of CFRN, okay? And just be honest, we don't have that kind of a rate. But they fail simply because they have no teacher. Now, the internet is full of rooms and gurus and indicators and oscillators, but none of that alone has the ability to teach you how to trade. If someone has a shiny indicator that, behaves a certain way under certain conditions, okay, nothing wrong with using that indicator if you know when you're in certain conditions. Often you can't tell what condition you're in until the condition's over. Or you get some indicators with a PDF and the ad says start making money right away. Well, our approach is a little different. We want you to have some instruction. We want you to have some practice in the simulator. We want you to pass our little test before you actually go live in the market with real money. Because if you cannot become consistently profitable with any methodology in the simulator, it's real-time data, it behaves just like the real DOM, but even that isn't enough. You need instruction. You need to be taught. Imagine an airline pilot. Imagine someone who wants to be an airline pilot who says, I'm not going to all those classes and all that. Just point me to a plane. I'm just gonna fly. Now, there may be some natural born flyers, or perhaps they have skills from video games, but I think you're going to see a lot of crash and burns. A doctor teaching himself brain surgery. Even a podiatrist working on his own feet, or trying to learn to be a podiatrist. You're reading the instructions on Google, it's looking good, you administer the anesthesia, and then you wake up 2 hours later and you still got a bad foot and you still aren't a podiatrist. So, what's the rub, bub? Why is this? Well, think about it. A talented trader has the ability to earn a pretty fair income without the headaches of people, employees, students, inventory, punching a time clock. I've always told you why we do what we do. And I know that some will tell you they just want to give back to society. And Michael and I wanted to do that too. And when he and I first met, we said if we ever break the code, so to speak, if we ever unlock the vault, if we ever figure it out, nail it, whatever you want, whatever terminology you want to use, we're going to give back. We're going to take everything we hate about every trading room we've ever been in. We're going to pick just the things that are pleasing and pleasant and noble and true. We're going to treat people with dignity and respect, if we ever figure it out ourselves. So, on our journey to really getting it figured out, we did train for 4 years, absolutely free, just giving back. But we reached a point of diminishing returns because as it began to consume our life, I said, hey, this either has to become a business that can support itself, and that's biblical. A church that can't support itself after a certain amount of time probably, missed the target. So we, after much decision making and thought, I went to Machu Picchu and sat on the mountaintop and then came back and said, Michael, I got a clear vision, man. Let's go. And it has been an incredible ride. Now, again, back to the teachers. A lot of instructors out there, a lot of guys that sit in a room and call out the numbers. But if you go on the internet and you try to find a teacher, someone who will give you group instruction every day for 2 hours, and as much one-on-one mentoring as you need, you get to call the shot. Is it once a week, twice a week? Maybe. After a while, it probably becomes once every 2 weeks. That's up to you. You just have to book the appointment. We both show up. You bring me your questions, and I'll bring you the best answers that I have. Now, I'm not saying that we're the only people who will actually teach a person to trade, not just hand them some stuff, pat them on the back and say, see ya. No. That would be silly. There are people out there, but try to find one and then look at the price tag. As I told you the other day, when I was trying to make the transition from equities to futures back in 2005, I put a bounty out, a sizable bounty. And I'll come to your place, wherever that is. I'll make the coffee, I'll sharpen the pencils, plus I'll pay you this sum of money. I just want to look over your shoulder. I just want to see how it's done. Then maybe I can catch on. Because my guru at the time would not allow us to watch him trade. He'd tell us all about it. And if there was a move and we didn't get it, he would kind of make fun of us. But we just kept saying, hey man, just can't we watch you trade? I think we would learn so much quicker if we could just, no. So anyway, no need to drag up bad memories, but what Michael and I did is we set out to create the one thing, the one place, the one-stop shop. Here at CFRN, we may not be the tallest, the richest, the prettiest, and I'm sure there's a faster gun, probably a lot. But what we do is when you come on board for the mentoring program, we commit 90 days of our life to you. We're at your beck and call for 90 days. And if you decide to remain an active partner, then everything stays exactly the same. If you choose the passport method, that gives you access to every single thing that we have. Instead of being this 9 out of 10 over here in the red from Futures Magazine, over here with a CFRN passport, you become 1 out of 10 versus the 9 out of 10. Not just another niner. And you know, group training, live trading room every day, unlimited private mentoring, proprietary methodology, powerful Emini indicators, around the clock alerts. So we're going to do our very best to teach you how to trade. Not just give you a PDF and some things, and no, actually teach you. We do workshops on Thursday, and we'll meet with you when and where you need help at your level, okay? Because everybody's on a different place on their journey up Trader Mountain. If I talk to you for a few minutes and you answer the questions honestly and truthfully, which is what I want, then I can figure out exactly where you are, and I know exactly what you need to learn next to become closer to your goal. And our goal is realistic. You know, so many traders fail because their head gets filled with unrealistic expectations. We stay far away from that. No gold teeth, no fur coats, no Bentley. Work hard, love God, love people, and learn how to trade. God's never going to move the market for you. I wrote about this last night. You pray before you start trading for the day, not during the trade. Because if you're praying during the trade, well, if you're praying to ask God to move the market in your direction, yeah, that doesn't work. However, if you walk closely, He will, through the power of the Holy Spirit, He will open your mind and help you to see things you've never seen before, understand things with greater clarity, just make things obvious for you. So yes, He will help you learn how to trade, but He's not going to trade for you. He's not going to move the markets for you. The passport gives you everything that we have. It also gives you everything we will ever have. If we come out with a new indicator, which we haven't changed a line of code in over 5 years, we haven't created a new indicator in as long. Everything's humming on 8 cylinders, and you know the old saying, if it's not broke, you know, why try to fix it? And if you have an edge, if you try to put an edge on an edge on an edge, pretty soon you've got bloody fingers, and you don't want that. Okay, so just, you'll be seeing this around a lot. It'll be popping up on the internet. It'll follow you. Everything a trader needs, one low price. This is a lease. It is because we wanted the upfront cost to be lower. And you know, if you're ready for this type of instruction, if you're ready for these types of trades, by the end of your first month, when your second lease payment comes due, you'll know if this is for you. At the end of the 24 months, there is a $1 buyout option. Okay, what does that mean? It means simply for $1 more, you own everything for life. Access to everything. Every class, every webinar, seminar, Q&A, everything. Not what we have now, not what we have when your lease is up, but everything we do and create, you'll have an all-access pass. Now, you can send any questions to support at CFRN.net. Call 949-42-EMINI. Or if you have a question right now, you could just type it in the chat box. Let's go look at, I thought we might get through this zone right here. And I think I was in the process of, hold on one second for me. And then we'll go to the numbers, and then we'll go to Michael. Okay, this is alert number 591. Most of you have had a chance to review all of the trades that came out of the beta test, but you may not have had an opportunity to view after the beta, which was 3 weeks, then the ensuing 7 weeks, because that's, you know, in the private channel. You may not have had an opportunity to see all of that. So if you would like to see up close the actual trade alerts that have carried us through all these weeks, contact me, and you and I will, you can book it like a mentoring session, or contact me otherwise. I'll take you on a personal tour, and we'll walk through the weeks, and we'll look at the alerts, and then you'll have a really good idea of the potential that exists there, and the concept behind it, which is you don't want to spend 80% of your day looking for trades. If you spend 80% of your day looking for a trade, in the course of a 5-day week, you've just spent 4 days looking, 1 day trading. Imagine having enough ammunition to be able to trade all 5 days. It's made a world of difference for me. All right, looks like S&P wants to revisit. Now let me look at this week's zones. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me type this out real quick. We'll go to those numbers. Okay. All right. Oh, gotta put the symbol in. Now we're ready. Alright, since you're on the radio with me today, I'll show you I appreciate you being here. On the ES, we had a long alert taking us up to the next zone overhead, but looks kind of like it wants to pull back here. So, do we know how to handle that? We do. We're going to hedge that with 28.85 to 28.83 to 28.81. Okay, there you have it, live in real time. I don't do that too often, but when I do it, I do it with you guys. It's a true story. Okay, now let us move to those numbers. I've been very busy this morning. I have not had an opportunity to look at the news, so if there's anything out there sporty, let me know and I will bring it up. Hi, Edward. Let me type you a message real quick. Okay. We're going to start with these cash markets. And Edward, call me later so that we can talk, because there's something I want to explain to you. Now, cash markets around the world, we'll start in the U.S., talk futures in a moment. The Dow is currently down 13.5 points. NASDAQ is up 20. S&P 500 is up a point. And the Russell 2000 is up almost a point and a half. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 50 cents, trading 74.79 last. Gold up $2.40, trading 11.91 last. In the Asian markets, at the close today, the Nikkei was down 314 points. That's well over 1%. Shanghai added 4.5, and the Hang Seng lost 29 points. In Europe, color of the day, green. Not a bright green, but it's green. The FTSE closed up 4 points. The DAX was up 30, and the CAC was up 18. So, mixed day in Asia, green day in Europe, and a mixed day here at home because of the Dow and because of the Dow. And I want you to think about what John said yesterday about the Dow. He said when the Dow is the last man standing, it spells trouble. And he then went on to say, I've just given you one of my biggest secrets. His words, not mine, but that's what he said. And so I'm going to be watching that Dow. You know how I'm always telling you that when, now he and I go back 20 years, but I'm always telling you that when you hear something you haven't heard before, you don't accept it as gospel truth. If you like the person, you love the person, you've been friends for 20 years, doesn't mean you don't believe them, but did you hear the confidence in his voice when he said that? See, I need that. So what I'll do is I'll watch the Dow long enough, take notes, journal. Could be 3 months, 6 months, could be a year, but at some point I'm either going to say, you know what, that's a 50-50 deal at best, or I'm going to have a grin because I'm going to have found what he found. You follow me? So you see, I always encourage you to do this, even with stuff I say. And here I am, when I hear stuff, drag it out in the light of day, slap it around and see if it'll salute back. And I think it probably will with him. So, but I'm still going to put it to the test, because if it is true, I want to own it, not just know about it. All right, that covers all of the markets. So if Michael is here,
he is,
then we would invite him to come in and share with us, that would be you and I, exactly what transpired in the live training room today. Are you up to that?
I am up to that. I'm up to that, yes.
How
We had
was
a good
it?
day today.
You had a good day?
It was very good, actually.
Awesome.
It was our best day this month.
You know, it was real interesting. Last week, it didn't seem like we were having that great of a week on the L2. I got a little concerned maybe at one point, and when I sat down to tally up, it blew me away how many alerts there had been over the course of the week, because it seemed I was having some difficulties finding, but I found plenty. And And then when I saw the percentage, I was like, or the probability, I went, whoa. It's, guys, that's why I encourage you to journal, write everything down, because your mind can take you places you really weren't supposed to go, or don't need to be. But if you write it down, if you get the chaos and confusion out of your head and get it on a piece of paper in black and white, you can start to put it in columns, and you'll feel a sense of calm come over you, because it's not just stuff swirling around in your head. You can make rational and reasonable decisions if you'll put it on a piece of paper. Now, if you don't want anybody to see the paper, you can always destroy it or eat it, or you can get that flash paper like they use in the bookie shops, where you've seen those before. In movies.
Yeah, in movies.
Yeah, that's the only way I've ever seen them. I don't know. Well, you know, I'm surprised. Do they still have, like, do people still go to bookies to bet on games and things like that?
Oh yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Oh yeah, it is.
Huh.
Yes, it is.
I've never known. Well, I think I knew a guy who like fancied himself a booker, but he ran an office for me back. Gosh, he was like 45 or 50, and I was like 23 or 24. And he, what a character he was. You know, you ever met certain people? They're like a caricature of themselves. I mean, they're just so out there, outlandish, kind of like Trump, right? Trump's kind of like a caricature of himself. And my buddy Gary, he grew up in Brooklyn. He had the accent. He had all the gold jewelry. This was in the 80s, yeah. He had all the gold jewelry, and unfortunately, he died a very tragic death. But anyway, I miss you, Gary, if you're out there listening in. Okay, let me push these charts up so that you can tell us all about it, and I will be here when you are done. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Now, and so again, last night, finding opportunities on the L2 overnight. There were some, but there are other times, and I was talking, I don't know if I was talking, no, I don't know who I was talking, I wasn't talking to you, but there are times when I'll sit down, maybe it's been a couple of hours since I sent out any alerts, and so...
Hey, John is there.
John's already here?
Yeah, John's already here.
Oh, here. Just go ahead and do the recap. We can talk about this later.
Okay, alright. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 9th day of October, 2018. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net, and right over here on the right-hand side, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. You can click on that, or click down here, or click down here. Any one of those is eventually going to get you to this page. And on this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit that submit button. Once you hit the submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. Click on the confirmation link, okay? Because we don't know you took the trial until you click that link. Now, the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, we started off with a stop out on the ES. I'll get into that in just a minute. But we ended up making 2 ticks in the euro, 23 ticks in crude, and 17 ticks in gold. We lost 4 ticks on the ES. That put us at 362.50 on the day. 362.50 on the day. Today it took 21 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we were up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 11 opportunities this morning. So that puts us at 1562 on the month. That's over 7 days, averaging 223 per day. On the year now, we're at 26,962. That's over 186 days, averaging 144 per day. 144 per day. Okay? Okay. Now, we'll get into what happened. Gold. Let's see. Right in here on gold, we picked up 17 ticks on this trade. Oh, goodness, I forgot to enter this in. Picked up 17 ticks on that trade. And we picked up 4 ticks on this one. So we actually have 21 ticks in gold. We picked up 4 ticks in this one. We missed the follow-up right there. And I was showing people stuff. You know, I tried, you know, once we got up really good in the room, I spent more time teaching than, you know, than placing trades and stuff. But during the break, there was a long trade right there. And it looks like it's setting up a short right in here. Okay, but that was gold today. And I got to fix it in the spreadsheet as well. Here, so we had actually 12 trades today. 12 trades, and this was 21 ticks. Okay, and on the euro, we had missed a trade here, and we missed a trade there. Okay, I don't think we missed anything before that. No, we missed those two, and then we picked up 2 ticks right here. Then we got into the break, and there was a long trade right here that went nicely. And it tried to flip around and give a short, but it never made it. Okay, so we ended up with just plus 2 ticks in the euro. And crude oil, let's go all the way back to the beginning, because we sort of, well, I'll show you. The first one here, we picked up 3 ticks. Then we had a break even. And we had another break even. Then we missed one, we missed one. Somewhere in here, we picked up 4 ticks, and I missed that spot. You know what? I might have added it to the wrong one. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. So we really got 19 ticks on this. Okay, and I'm sorry. We missed a trade there, we missed a trade there. We picked up 14 ticks here, and that brought us to plus 17. And we had a break even there, we missed one there, had a break even there, and we picked up 2 ticks here. That brought us to plus 19, and that's where we ended on crude this morning. So I got to go fix that on crude. So our total on the day is back where it was, because I just put the 4 in the wrong column. This is 19. Okay, and this is back to 11, because I had done it all in the wrong column on my sheet. But anyway, during the break, let's look through here. During the break, there was a long trade. Well, I would have said we're not trending, so I wouldn't have done anything here. If you did do it, it was a break even. It flipped around and tried to give a short here, but again, I would have said we're not trending. Yeah, so we really didn't have anything there on crude during the break. Okay, on the ES, we started out right here. We stopped out on that one. And then, oh, where did I go long? Or short? Somewhere. I know there was another trade that we put in. We picked up 4 ticks. I'm trying to find out where it was, though. I don't know. But there was another trade that we put in and we picked up 4 ticks. And I think it was a short. So it would have had to have been right in this area, right in here. Probably. Maybe over here. From there to there. Anyway, during the break, let's see, there was a bounce off the BBC right here that went up pretty well. We have a new high in the day right up there. Then it came back down, went through the weekly trading zone, gave a momentum short right in there, and another one right there. Okay, and that was it for the morning session. So back here to the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 9th day of October. Hang on, Barbara. Today is the 9th day of October. Okay. And today we made 2 ticks in the euro, 19 ticks in crude, 21 ticks in gold, put us at 362.50. We lost $50 in the ES. Today we took 21 minutes and 3 trades to get to our goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 a contract, and we took a total of 11 trade opportunities. On the month now, we're at 1562.50. That's over 7 days, averaging 223 per day. On the year, we're at 26,962. That's over 186 days, averaging 144 per day. Now that's one contract, 2 hours per day. And, you know, I have to fix this. When we started the new year, this column was all messed up. This used to show what it would be like if we traded 2 contracts and 3 contracts and 4 contracts and 5 contracts and added 1 contract per month. As long as you made, you know, enough money per contract per month. I'll put that back on there. Okay. And Bart, I'm probably going to do that tomorrow, not today, because Jake's got soccer, Macy's got basketball, volleyball, sorry, and Jada's not feeling good. Okay. So if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net. Right over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that, and you'll be brought to this page, where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button. Once you hit the submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. Okay? Click on that confirmation link, because we don't know you took the trial until you click on it. Okay? Okay. With that, I will pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Thank you if you are ready. And do you want me to open up John's mic?
Hang on just 1 second. I'm going to check and make sure he's there. Because I think he likes to get logged in early to let me know he's coming, but he's probably tied up with some things. So,
yeah.
Hang on 1 second. John, if you're, I know you listen in right before you come on, so if you are prepared, you could type into the chat box, only Michael and I see it, or you can jingle my phone, and that way we don't open your mic at an inappropriate time and cause you grief. Okay, so the right chart showing?
Yes, I see ESZ8.
So, trivia question. How, if a person forced you to sit down and make a list of everything the passport includes, how many things do you think would be on that list?
A bunch. A bunch. Let me think.
How about 30?
Logic.
No, there couldn't be that many. No, I did find 10. I did find 10. Trade anywhere, anytime. That's a freebie. I didn't even count that one. Everything a trader needs, one low monthly price. Your passport includes, but is not limited to. There's the 10. Oh wait, the 20. You got to be kidding. 30. Whoa. And then there's bonuses. See those 30? They don't even include the proprietary indicator set. More guesswork, simple to understand, instantly find underlying trend, all of that. Logic 247, I forgot to mention that in the 30. The weekly trading zones, I forgot to mention that in the 30. Concierge Trade Alerts, no mention in the 30. For a limited time, everything discussed here, everything you've ever seen on the radio, during the webinar, at a seminar, is yours for life. That's what monthly payment. Now that spells it out right there, past, present, even future. So for those of you that have been wondering and you're kind of on the periphery going, yeah, I don't know what's really going on, you know what, take a tour, take a demo, book a mentoring session, and I'll show you around. I'll answer your questions, and if it's not for you, yeah, it's not for you. Okay. Now I do want to say this: it is a 24-month lease. There is a $1 buyout at the end. If after, you know, a couple months, if it's not generating positive cash flow for you, you probably will stop sending your lease payment. Now, here's the thing: if it is working for you, you're probably going to try to pay a year in advance, so we're, you know, locked in, and that's okay too. You know, after a couple of months, if you're not making money, I mean, we don't want to hold you prisoner, and I mean, we'll do everything we can to help you figure it out. Mentoring sessions, sit with you, make sure you understand. But I mean, hey, if it's not for you, it's not for you. If you walk, Guido's not going to be happy. No, I'm sorry. We have no Guido. We're not going to break your leg. We're not going to, you know, chase you down, because that's you can't build a community that way. If a person just feels that it's not right and it doesn't fit, they're just going to, you know, become, if they stay with the community, if they remain in the village, then they tend to be a troublemaker or something. And we have no people like that. We have the greatest group of people on planet Earth. So check it out. Kick the tires. Make sure you understand the alerts, how they work, how you set your stop, you got your target, how you trade the exit signal versus just the target. And oh, there was a, oh gosh, what market was that last night? Oh, I posted it on the thing. Hey John, if you're there, jingle my phone real quick, please. And because we don't want to leave you waiting, but also I don't want everybody to hear your private conversations. So that's kind of important. I did a oh, where'd that baby go? We did a test last night. I'm not seeing it. Oh, that's done. Okay. I had a trade that defied imagination. It looked really unusual. Hey John, welcome to the show.
Hi there. It's sort of, as you can probably tell from the S&P chart, we've got a bit of a breakdown going on.
Yeah.
After an early an early rebound. Look, today's lows are very important now, and this sort of inability, you know, we had this early rally, which, you know, we sold the highs again last night. We actually, as you know, we got the lows on the show yesterday. We you know, said it was going to rally when we were down at the 2869 level, more or less, and we got the rally right up to just shy of 2900, and we got this secondary rally this morning, you know, around about 5 or 6 o'clock. I took a look and saw a bottom, but you got to be very, very careful here, because I don't think we're off on our ideas about a possible breakdown. And even though we've had a couple of reprieves, if you like, the VIXs are, as a matter of fact, I bought the VIX last night on the close, and it was kind of the low of the day, and it opened up nearly a point this morning. We sold it and we just bought it back a short while ago, and it's starting to head higher again. And I'm telling you, look, if this VIX breaks 30, it's even 29. It just broke 29 a minute ago. If it breaks 30, the VXX, you know, this thing could really go up a lot. So we could be looking at a whole new ball game, because it sort of spent 3 days trying to, you know, it's sold off from the 30 level. So if it breaks up today or going into the rest of the week, you know, we could be looking at a pretty significant up leg in the VIXs, and potentially pretty significant down leg in the markets. So, you know,
it's a monthly chart of the ES, John. I am using the continuous chart here.
Of the S&P, right?
Yeah, this is the ES E-mini.
Right, and look at it. I mean, we're actually, you know, this is, you know, we had
we've not had a sell signal since January of 2014. It actually went back to 13, but just call it January 2014. The monthly chart has not given us a sell signal.
Well, what you got to be careful of with this is you had we're in October, so September was a short little month. It was kind of a doji month, and the excuse me,
this September,
the
right?
range,
Yeah,
the range, yeah, was pretty small.
like somebody putting on the brakes.
that's a problem. You know, at a new high. Second thing is, we've now got what I call a double monthly reversal potentially. This is a very, very dangerous setup.
What is that, a double monthly reversal?
Well, we're basically giving back what we made in September.
Right.
See that?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And if we take it, we've challenged September's low. If we take it out, you know, this thing could really tank. You know, you could be set down 2,700 pretty quick, and you could go down to 2,500. You know, you could have a very big move. So and these double monthly, double daily, double monthly, double weekly reversals are very, very dangerous because they tend to mark the highs for a long time. You know. So that's a weekly, right?
That's weekly. Yeah. What would you like it on?
Yeah, and in a way you've got a double weekly reversal there. See you had that red doji, and then now you're expanding the range on the downside. So you've broken the trend on the weekly, and the range is expanding on the downside. And if we fall any more, you're going to be expanding the downside daily range. Yeah, I mean, this is really a big deal going on here. And I just got the sense this morning, you know, to be honest with you, I was just surprised the market ran up as much as it did, because it didn't look like it was going to. It didn't look like it was going to rally that much, and now Google, you know, the stars are all failing again. You know, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Tesla. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this. I got it right up on my screen right here. I want to talk to you about this trouble that
excuse me.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right here. This trouble that Google's in. Have you? They're shutting down Google Plus. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, I heard that this morning. That was kind of a surprise.
Well, yeah, considering.
I thought you used to like that.
John, I have posted so many articles on Google Plus. Our Google Plus page, it's impossible to get to the bottom of it, because if you scroll to the bottom of our Google Plus page, then it adds another page. And I actually put up some kind of prize one time if anybody could find the first post that I made on Google Plus, because it's probably about 5 years back. And so now they say in the article that I read yesterday, it said that they were going to convert it into more of a group sharing application, sort of like Slack. Are you familiar with Slack?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's a collaborative space where it's like you and your employees or coworkers have a virtual office that you can all go into, and you got a whiteboard, and one guy can write on it, then another guy in Texas, he can write on it, and it's really that's a simplified explanation. But Google Plus says that they're going to, because it never really took off with the consumer, but their metrics are so huge, so they're going to pursue businesses. I just haven't heard yet, you know, what happens to the content. Are they going to just delete it? I think that would create, because I'm not the only person that has spent many hours, you know, SEOing content and putting it in there. Hopefully they'll let me migrate it into their new thing, whatever it's going to be called. I did have that article up right here.
Can you switch it to Facebook or anything like that?
Oh, you mean, can I bring up a Facebook chart?
No. Can you switch all your stuff over to another platform?
Well, it depends if they give me a way to export it. And, well, here's the thing. Google discovered in March that it had exposed personal profile data of hundreds of thousands of Google Plus users. Company managers decided not to disclose this information for fear of the regulatory scrutiny it might draw following the Cambridge Analytica scandal. I mean, that's the crime right there, aside from the hacking. After the journal story was published, Google announced that it had shuttered Google Plus to the public. It's already, I just posted there last night. The company also said that personal information belonging to as many as 500,000 Google Plus users was exposed. A software glitch caused Google to expose the personal profile data. Blah blah. In the wake of publishing, Google announced in a blog post yesterday it had closed down the social networking service for consumers. Well, I gotta say, last night when I was posting on it, TEST. It always comes. It's still working. Now, maybe because I'm a community, I'm looked at different than an individual or consumer. Maybe because I'm a community, I'll automatically get rolled into the business thing. I mean, I don't have enough information yet to know what's really going to happen. I was just shocked that they have abandoned a lot of their products over the years, and they always leave some very unhappy campers in their wake because certain people really took to that product and kind of depended on it. They used it on a daily basis. The glitch enabled outside developers to access the data between 2015 and March 2018. The glitch was fixed, and Google concluded that nothing nefarious was done with the information. Oh yeah, they just hacked it for fun. Google Plus was the company's response to Facebook. The service, however, never mustered much of a following or seriously challenged the top player. I disagree. It had its day in the sun. Then last, Google didn't. A security lapse of this kind is exactly the kind of news Google didn't need right now. U.S. lawmakers are concerned that the big tech companies have come under scrutiny for a variety of reasons in recent years. Google has, in addition, been strongly criticized in recent weeks about building a search engine that would censor information as part of a possible entry into China. They're kind of just getting hit all around. They've discovered some kind of bug. There's a problem.
Wait, can you put that S&P up on the daily now? See what it looks like.
You betcha. I don't think they've ever shut down one of their.
Oh, how about the 30 minute now? Let's see what that looks like.
I don't think they've ever shut down.
It's breaking down. The Nasdaq's coming off pretty fast here.
I don't think they've ever shut down one of their apps that had as many users as Google Plus. I mean, this is going to cause some issues, but they're Google. They'll survive. Here, let me get rid of these drawing objects. There you go. All right, there's 30 days. I'm on the continuous. Do you want me to go to the current front
Actually,
line?
could you go to the VXX? If you go to a 10 minute on the VXX.
All right, for the VXX, we'll need to launch this. Okay. There's something, I don't know why that tab automatically opens every time. I'm still VXX. Here we go. You know what time frame you want it on?
10 minute.
10 minute. Oh, you can have 5 or 15.
15 now.
Here we go.
Okay, can you squeeze it off a bit?
Sure. Tell me when.
Okay, you see the way this thing has kind of, see how it opened down, and that was the low, October the 1st, and then we kind of based out, and then we suddenly started taking off, and we had a 1-2, we had an ABC pullback, then we had another impulse wave, then we had another pullback and an impulse wave, and then today we had another pullback, and we're starting to go on an impulse wave here.
Now,
you can
tell us why you call that an impulse wave.
Well, because it's possibly started a new bull market here. You know, this is a classic where you get a gap down and that's the low. That's pretty unusual. Kind of happened with the gold stocks yesterday.
I mean, is there any one particular thing that causes you to call it an impulse wave? Is it
well, look, the fact that we gapped up, we gapped up.
Gapped up, yeah.
On the 4th, and
on the 4th.
Oh, the 5th, was it 5th rather? Is it the 4th or the 5th? No, the 4th. And then we had this second, you know, we pulled back, and then we went up again. But what I'm getting at is, you know, you're starting to the way we're building value at higher levels here after being down in the 25s. We didn't make a lower low against the January low. If you can squeeze it up a bit more, you might even get a better perspective. But you can see now how this thing could potentially run higher here. You know, especially getting above 29 3/4 now would be important. Taking out today's high, and then, you know, you could see the potential for this thing to run up to maybe 33 from here, 33, 34, 35 possibly, you know, and it could really get skates on. So we're definitely in a different kind of a, and that 2850 support today was fairly interesting, the way it held there so far. And, you know, the Dow, I mean...
You're talking about on the S&P?
Well, the Dow was down 200 this morning. It went all the way back to unchanged, and now it's down 130 again. This is, you know, we haven't seen this kind... It's sort of like the market started to reverse its actions, you know, over the last few months. You know, what used to happen was, you know, we'd go from unchanged to up 130, up 200. We might pull back 100, but then we go back up to 200 again.
Right.
Now we're sort of going down. You know, we're rallying up, and then we're selling off again. You know, we kind of definitely gone into a more bearish posture. And you know, these lows, that low today at 8 o'clock. I mean, listen, if this thing breaks down to 26,400.
Do you mean 9? What time was the low on the Dow?
Sorry, 9 o'clock. My apologies. 9 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, and then to just get up to the high and start selling off again. I noticed this is what happened the last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean,
with
right
some
here.
stocks.
Yeah, see this?
Yeah, and Apple was the same. You know, and they kind of rally up, and then they can't, you know, I tell you what, I mean, this is kind of the last stand here for these stocks, because you could argue we've got the makings of a reversal here, but, you know, we had a couple of tests here in the last few days on things like, you know, Google and Amazon and things, and now they're breaking down, they're actually accelerating. It's starting to scare me a bit, you know. It's just, I think that this is the sort of day that could turn out very badly, because, you know, we came in, you know, I think the market, you know, this turnaround Tuesday, everybody sort of breathed a sigh of relief. Stocks went up, and then they pretty much turned around an hour ago. And so up in the morning, down in the afternoon, you know, not good stuff. So, you know, look, the day's not over yet. You know, the stocks have come back from worse than this, but I'm just trying to, you know, we've done a reasonably good job. I mean, sort of preparing people for the possibility of a very bad breakdown, maybe even worse than most people think. But in spite of that, we've called those two, you know, recent rallies. You know, I said you know, if we didn't follow through down yesterday, which we didn't, it would certainly be a reprieve. We came in lower overnight this morning, which was possibly not expected by a lot of people, and rallied up, and then now we're, you know, 3/4 of the way back down again. So it's definitely not particularly good action. The overseas markets are marking time today. The European markets also had a rally, but they finished with a bit of a negative. In fact, I gotta tell you this: the way the European markets are closing here, can you get the DAX up?
I think I can on the other platform. Coming into the show, John, we said we were going to hedge our long ES that's sitting way up above current market, 85 to 83 to 81. Let's put out a little live radio. And I think, what do we?
Yeah, look, we might hold here.
So we missed, for those of you that participated, you already know, we, so far, 2 ticks from our final target at 81. And that was a nice little 4-point trade. 85 to 83 to 81. I'll take those all day long. Let me get the DAX for you.
Yeah. Yeah. The DAX. Yeah. We're trying to rally here a little bit, but the
FDAX, that would be the one, or this one up
here.
Yeah,
that DAX. Yeah, DAX.
No.
Maybe.
DAX.
Try that.
Z.
No, I don't know. It's just the DAX.
Yeah. Well, this is a futures. Let's just see what I got. Oh, it's because I probably got to go to a daily. The margins on this thing are insane. Yeah, that's not what we want.
Just DAX. Just the regular
DAX and hit enter. See what comes back. German stock index. How about that?
Okay, can you get an intraday on that or not?
Let's
so
see.
Hourly?
I think I can. Oh. No, I got it. See how it took away?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that late reversal on the DAX is, could mean
mini DAX. DAX price index dividend. FDAX. Yeah. This is probably what we're FDAX Z. I'll try it. This is December 2018, and I can get a 30-minute on this. Is that what you want? 30 minutes?
Hour. That's what it is.
Sure. Okay. Is that what? Do you have a price of a? Oh, I'm on delayed data here.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, it's look. Obviously, it's had a pretty severe breakdown over the last few days. So that reversal today is kind of constructive. So it may mean that this is just we're starting to rally now. So the VIX is coming off.
Well, what's that? What was the high flying pot stock the other day? What was that called?
Tilray. Yeah, it's down. Last time we sold that, it was about 145, I think so, 143.
Well, all the other, well, many of the other vendors in this space were complaining that Tilray was giving them like a bad name. That's not the stock symbol. What's the symbol? TLR? TLRY? No. Tilray. I know we had it the other day. TR, I get not Tilray. I don't know, John.
Yeah, by the way, Tesla, which has been hit pretty hard, actually gave us a buy signal last night at around 250, and it's at 264 right now, which apparently is the safest car ever tested, which is interesting. The new Tesla 3.
Oh, thank you very much, Frederick. It's TLRY. Hey, and Edward, check your chat box because I'm trying to figure out which time zone we're looking at. Now, on this S&P, our Our third and final target was 28.81. It looks like 81.50. So those couple ticks. That's why I say whenever you're getting close to your target, you need to be breathing on the back of its neck, because it can, beautiful 4-point trade, you certainly don't want to lose it over 2 ticks. So anyway, what was your question? What can I do?
I just mentioned Tesla, the popped a bit today.
Okay, what's the story on him? Is he becoming the cult hero again, or is he
Well,
sort of persona non grata?
it launched another rocket, very successful, a couple of nights ago. And
Well, this is an interesting. Look at this gap lower open. Now this filled that gap.
they've had about 39 successful launches now, which is a pretty good record for the rocket business.
Yeah. You know, when I was a kid, I bought a bunch of them over the years, and I never got one off the ground. Did you ever have those kind of little rockets when you were a kid?
Yeah, we've kind of fooled around with stuff like that.
Okay, so Frederick was kind enough to give me the correct stock symbol. TLRY. Oh, it's because I got it locked on all futures. Thank you, Frederick. Okay, here's Tilray on a hourly chart. Kind of been quiet after all the.
Yeah, it's I think it's heading down again now. It's broken. This is the beginning. You know, had that kind of rebound. I would liken Tilray to the gold run up in 1980, where we ran up and crashed, and then in fact what happened was we went to 875, came back to 400, rallied up to 700, 720, something like that, and then that was it. The secondary rally was it, and I think we've just had the secondary rally on Tilray.
John, I'd like you to take a look at this chart and tell me. I'm starting to do some research on the company. This is a daily chart. Now, if we scrunch it up a little bit, here, let me see if I can go weekly. I'm not sure how far this goes back. So, I mean, I don't know if this is a misprint or not, but you see this $2,800 figure over here? And then there's nothing. Okay, now let's go back to just a daily. And of late, we've seen it go from $1.40 something. And it's been trading, it's been basing here at about 2 cents for quite a long time. A couple of years. Now the company itself has a bit of an interesting story, and there seems to be some speculation out there that it could be a scam, and of course there's people who say it's nothing of the kind. Have you ever heard of it before? They just bought up United Gaming. It's some kind of deal where you give these free games to your friends, and when they play them, you make money somehow. You know, Cavera is the crypto part of their business. Improving all their material is quite good. They've got this mining in the cloud, you know, BTC mining for the masses. They've got all these video games that people are playing, and somehow when they play them, you make money. And I went through the financials the other day. They got about they own Cavera, United Games, United League, Safe Management. So will you look at it for me? InvestView.com is the main website, and the trading symbol's INVU, because everything I look at, seems pretty positive. But there's a reason it's at 2 cents, and so I kind of want to get to the bottom of it. One of the things I don't like is the fact that they've got 2 billion outstanding shares. That's when does it become a Carl Sagan stock to you?
It's already one.
Billions. Okay, a company like Amazon or Google, what do you think is a fair amount of shares for them to have, outstanding and issued?
I don't know.
I have no idea what they have. It's typically the lower priced stocks that have so many shares, so they can do the reverse split at some point and start the death spiral. But anyway, this is interesting. I mean, if this thing has any hope of a future, I'm going to call and talk to some of the principals of the company. They seem to be very approachable. InvestView and its subsidiaries provide technology, market research, education products. Cuvera, the wholly owned subsidiary, dedicated to the education and market technology for individuals. Safe Management, wholly owned subsidiary, a New Jersey registered investment advisor. So, and anyone else out in the audience, I certainly don't mean to slight you. If you want to do some due diligence and dig down, I'm trying to figure out why it's 2 cents, and if I can't figure out why it's 2 cents,
there's a couple of billion shares out. Do the math. It's probably got a pretty big market cap, and it's it's not a stock I would invest in anyway. So
don't you have to look, to find undervalued situations? Don't you have to look a little further under the hood than that?
No.
Okay, so you're saying once they cross the billion mark, with
forget about it.
I mean, that's just forget about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a market cap of 40 million. So, and it's going to take a lot to move that thing.
They got $500,000 in the bank. These are the shares out right here. I don't know what their authorized is.
46 million. There you go. So
yeah, 46. That's a market cap, and somewhere it shows on here real-time level 2 quote. So somebody's on the bid for 13,000. Somebody's trying to buy 159,000. Interesting. And then so far today, it's looked like there's a 25,000. Now at 2 cents, what did they pay for 25,000 shares? 25, 1, 2, 3.
About 100. I don't know.
$500.
Exactly.
So, there's a 10,000 lot. 10,000 lot. Here's the short interest. Days to cover. What a joke. They don't make them cover. All right. Well, if I could order a pizza on Friday night or buy 1,000 shares at 2 cents a piece for the same money, I don't know. You never know. 1 out of 10, one of them takes off, you'd be all right. So what else you want to cover today?
I think, just the grains. Once again, they didn't follow through. Beans are heading back down again. I'd probably put a buy stop at about 865 on the 864 maybe on the beans, just in case some news comes out. One thing that did catch my eye this morning is that the oats, which, if you remember, we actually called the bottom on this show a few months ago. It was at 230, and they just hit 280, 290 this morning. 289.
What was that again?
Oats. So that means you should be paying attention to the grains, because probably out of the blue, one of these days you're going to get a big buy on the grains. Probably for one of these trade deals. That agricultural show, they did mention that there's less fear of these bins overflowing now. With the harvest, everybody thought they were going to have a storage problem, but that doesn't appear to be the case anymore. So that could imply that the harvest wasn't quite as good as they thought. Oh, the coffee just hit a new high a minute ago.
John, these oats are pretty thinly traded, right?
They're not too bad. I've traded in and out of them. They're, you know, you might not get as good a fill as you do on the beans, but you get a reasonable fill.
I'm just saying, this is a 30-minute chart, and I see all these little flat candles in here. See what it looks like daily. And I'm on these Z.
Yeah, it's okay though, you know.
That looks pretty good on a daily.
Yeah.
See what the volume's like. Okay, so they average about 600 contracts a day. Okay.
Can you squeeze that up a bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah. As far as it'll let me. That takes us back to April.
It's hitting new contract. It's kind of a, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing that the oats are performing this well compared to the rest of the grains. Something that it could mean there's a big move coming, you know, in the grains soon.
Okay, this is a continuous chart, so
yeah, it's got a huge base on it, so starting to hit multi-year highs here.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it. Listen, thanks very much for the invite. We're starting to head up again, so I think we're out of trouble on this market now.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okie doke.
Thanks so much, John.
Thanks a lot.
Good evening.
You too.
All right, let me mute his mic. Speaking of mics, you still there, Mike? Mike is not there, man. Hey, Alan. I detected the grump in your voice yesterday morning. Although we were emailing, you probably detected the grump in mine because I was just frustrated because I can't figure out what the deal is. So maybe you and I can get together by phone one afternoon and see if we can't square it away. Either that, or I can just make a note to myself when I'm done early Monday morning, I could just manually take care of that. So you let me know. And flexible, do whatever I can. Yeah, David, I saw we were talking about that. He's talking about INVU. 2,219,661,300 shares. Boy, that's a Carl Sagan if I ever. So now I'm wondering how much revenue would they have to generate? I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you, David, have you ever seen a company with that many shares succeed? I can say that I've never. No. One time when we were exposing CMKM diamonds, and there's still press release, there's still news articles out there about Urban, who was the CEO, the Svengali, and he's got to be the greatest of the greatest at that crime, which doesn't make it a good thing. But every Friday morning we were calling the SEC, the DTTC, and everybody, and nobody wanted to listen. And we would call, we always managed to get his phone number. Every time he'd get a new burner phone, we get the number. We call him, and one morning on the radio he's like, "Will you people leave me alone?" And we couldn't. There's a book, Naked Truth, the shorting the American Dream. Is that how it goes? My friend Mark Falk wrote that one. If you ever get a chance to read it. Okay, Edward, I'm just trying to figure out, so we're going to do this at 4 Eastern, because that'll be 1 my time on Pacific, and that's okay, I can do that. So the deal. And you've got my number, is that correct? If you don't have my private line, then just shoot me an email with your number and I'll ring you from my private line. And when you see a 602 area code, you'll know it's me. Okay. All right, let's take a look at some of this other stuff. We haven't really had a chance to get through it today. All right, so again, for those of you that that took that little ride with us at the beginning, a little live radio alert, 885 to 83 to 81. So there's our 85 to 83. Swing low, 81.50. Even when it doesn't reach the third and final target, we know we're not going to get out at the swing high or swing low. Whether you're in the live training room on the range chart or discretionary trading on a larger time frame, the closer price gets to your target, the closer you want to trail. If you have 10 points under your belt on any particular trade, then you know trailing aggressively might be 2 points, might be 3 points, maybe 4. When you're on the range chart, trailing tightly, if you're looking to reach your daily goal of 8 or 10 ticks, then if I'm trying to get 10 ticks on the range chart, by the time that thing, if I've got 8 ticks profit, and this is what I encourage everyone that I spend time with in the private mentoring sessions, if 10's my goal for the day, and I know it's actually got to trade 11 to guarantee a fill, 11 ticks, by the time it gets to 8, I got to be at 5 or 6. If I get stopped out with 5, that's 50% of my job for the day. Got 9 more trades to go get another 5. Hopefully it only takes 1, but you don't know, and it always takes as long as it takes. So there you go. Last night on the Concierge Trade Alerts, let me open up the email. If you want to take a screenshot, we'll do that right off the top. Get your camera ready. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got it? Okay. Alright, on the S&P, we said to consider selling 28.88. That's going to be right here. So how about those bush people, the Alaskan bush people? Isn't that sad? I really enjoyed that show, and now I had about 10 episodes saved up to watch, and when the news broke, my wife deleted them all. Okay, Concierge Trade Alerts sell 28.88, and it took it down. Now remember, these are last week's zones on this chart. Passport holders, CTA clients all have the current zones, but for the general public, I just leave the previous week zones up until Thursday. Okay, so from 88.88 we put in a swing low at 79. So that's 9 S&P points, $50 per point, $450 per contract. That's what the market made available. Okay, 9 points, $50 per point. But you can't get out at the swing low. What you can do is, as you're approaching your target, you can trail tightly, however tightly looks to you, so that you're locking in the majority of that trade. You're not going to give back half or more over one more tick or two more ticks. Okay. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. And sometimes you get this right here, which created this double top. We triggered again, and this time we got down to 28.8150. Sound familiar? Okay. Yep, same spot. Except you were hitting it last night from, if you were basing it off this, 88.88. Alright, on the Dow, this triple top's pretty ominous, and here we go. I'm going to take another run at it right there, it looks like. On the Dow last night, the email said to consider selling 26,495. 26,495. Yep. There we go. Alright, swing low. 26,379. And it was 26,495. Okay. It's 116 points. $5 a point. The market made $580 per contract available. What you take out of that is you're in control of that. The market makes it available. And of course, we all go through the, it's part of that whole psychology thing. Well, if I get out now, I know it's gonna keep going, and so we stay in, and it doesn't keep going. This is why we recommend that you have a consistent set of rules that you're going to follow, and if you follow your rules and it runs for another 100 points, so be it. So be it. The plan is so that you don't have to make those types of decisions in the middle of a trade. Bullets zinging around your head, jumping from foxhole to foxhole. Okay, we didn't get back above the trigger here, but we finally got above here, and that brought us right back down to the same area, so we'll call that 500. And then we get back above the trigger one more time. Important prices, important areas, and basically another 5. So a 580, a 5, and a 5. We can live with that. The Russell. Boy, the Russell was sleepy last night. It finally got a move. We were looking to sell 1628 on the Russell. 1628 is going to be right about here. 1628. Come on. 1628, and so from 28 we made it down to try that again. 1628. Oh, I see, because this thing ran way back up here. Yeah, so the swing low was 24. So that's 4 points. $50 a point. $200 per contract available. That's the Russell. And important prices, important areas, gets above the trigger, comes back down, and hands out, looks like very close to another $200. Crude oil, last night's email said to consider buying 74.60, which is right here. And from 74.60 we put in a high 75.02. That's $400 per contract available. Back below the trigger, I'm not drawing it all the way across, but you can see where it goes. And so this swing high here, 75.14. So we'll call that 500. It's 510, I guess, but we'll just call it 500 per contract available. However, as you know, gotta leave a little on the table just to be neighborly. Now this one tried to come back and get below the trigger, but it didn't quite make it. In Q. Oh, that's the sleepy rascal I was thinking of. Yeah. As volatile as the NQ's been of late, this, consider selling 73.40. The swing low. It's 3 points. Also known as a stop out. Okay. On the long side, 74.20, and we hit 74.55. Okay, now that's, is that right? High 74.55. Yeah, so from 20 to 55, 35, that's $700 per contract available. Gold. I don't know, do we? Yeah, of course we did. Consider being long. 1201, which did not happen. Previous day it did. By 1201, and consider being short 1190 if the opportunity presents. And it did right here. Swing low, 86.60. We'll call it $300 per contract available. And soybeans, I'll just commandeer this chart. Soybeans, consider selling 861, right where we're at. Right here, right now. And nothing triggers on the buy side. So that's, oh, bonds. Bonds. ZBZ 8 30-year treasury bonds, and let's go 30 minutes, and there's quite a rally in bonds. We said to consider buying 137.04, which is right here. $137.04. Now, if it went up to 147.04, that would be $1,000 per contract traded. Hasn't done it yet. Swing high 137.24. So there's 20 ticks at 31.25 per tick. So that leaves you with $600 per contract that the market made available. Whatever you took out of it, that's up to you. Okay. Okay. Now look at the S&P. Here we come back down again. So important prices. So even, what was the swing high here? Yeah, so even that little alert we gave at the beginning of the show, it did it, except for those 2 ticks on the third target. Got back above the trigger. It did it, got back above the trigger, and now it's doing the same thing again on this candle. There's 85, 83, 81.50 was as far as it could push it before. So we had a leg, a retrace, a leg. Now the distance, but well, oh, those are last week's zones. So I won't even. There's 20 points between these zones. If they were this week's zones, that would be $1,000 down and $1,000 back up, and $1,000 down, $1,000 back up, and $1,000 down. 20 points, $50 a point, 77 and 97. But again, these are not this week's zones. Okay, this week's zones are in the vicinity. It's just not spot on the number. Now, does anyone have any questions on anything? We covered a good bit of stuff today. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. We'll scoot into our good word for the day. And if you don't have anything, then I won't hold you up. But I am happy to hang with you and do what I can. So, believe God. Believe God. Do you believe God? Do you believe God for good things? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't deserve it. Ever felt like that? Let me share this. I'm going to save that for another day. It's sort of lengthy. It's sort of an essay. If you have access to the public Telegram channel or the private Telegram channel, you can go there and you can read it yourself. It's entitled Never Lose Again. Okay? It's an interesting way of thinking. It's not a super duper new indicator. It's not a secret I found under a rock in a cave. But if you read it, if you take it to heart, if you put it to work, I think it could help you. I think it could help you a lot. Help me a lot. So, we know that a good father wants to give their children good gifts, especially their good children, but all of their children. Matthew 7:11. How much more will your Father who is in heaven give what is good to those who ask him? The entire scripture reads, if you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give what is good to those who ask? The cross proves God's love for us. He who did not spare his own son, but delivered him over for us all, how will he not also with him freely give us all things? Romans 8:32. Now, when it says all things, I did some research to the Greek, to the Hebrew, and it turns out when they say all things, it means everything. Or, as you say, all things. If it's promised in God's word, it's God's will, so refuse to settle for less. Jonathan was living in Lodabar only because he was willing to accept that as his status in life. The quality of your life is whatever you're willing to settle for. Do you believe that? You got to be single-minded in your approach, or you won't receive anything. The psalmist said this, "One thing have I desired of the Lord, that I will seek after him." One thing I have desired of the Lord, that I will seek after. Psalm 27:4, tell God exactly what you want. And if you're walking in obedience and seeking to please him, be confident when you come before him. 1 John 3:21, if our hearts do not condemn us, we have confidence before God. But be careful. Guilt undermines faith. Doesn't change what you believe, because faith is not what you believe, it's what you do with what you believe. But what he's said here is incredibly true. Guilt undermines what you do with what you believe. When you permit sin into your life, you become uncomfortable in God's presence, and it's hard to believe for the results you want. So, deal with it. Miracles happen to the believing. So get back into a position where you can confidently believe God for the things you need. He didn't say he was going to give you everything you want. But I think it's pretty clear that he'll meet our needs according to his Father's riches and glory. God, no matter where your life's at right now, maybe you're on the mountaintop, maybe you're in the valley, somewhere in between, God has not stopped believing in you. Think about that. Even when we, because of our own actions, what we believe, we no longer act it out, so it's no longer faith, and without faith it's impossible to please God. So while we have lost faith, God does not lose. God has hope for us right up to the very end. He has not changed his plan for your life, no matter what you've done. Circumstances and seasons change, but God's promises are forever settled in heaven and are always fulfilled. Jesus said, "How much more will your Father who is in heaven give what is good to those who ask him?" Now, note the words, what is good. That sounds like another Bible promise. Psalm 84:11 says, "No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly." And if God says no, it might be because it wouldn't be good for you. Because he has a unique vantage point. He can see around the corner and over the hill, and he knows. Country western. Anything that spurs a country western song must be true on some level, and I'm sure you've heard it. One of God's greatest gifts is unanswered prayers. Trust Him. He has something better in mind for you. If you're in Lodabar right now, if your life's at a low point, hey, there's only one way to go from there, and that's up. But you're going to have to make the first move. He's standing there ready to hold you up, support you, get behind you and push, pull, but you go first. None of this, you won last time, God, so you can go first. No, if you're waiting on Him to move first, you'll sit on that couch till they turn the electricity off. The other hand, if you're up and about and moving, I don't care if you're walking through alleys collecting aluminum cans. You've made the first move, trusting God, having faith. You're not just sitting there saying, I believe God's going to pay my electricity bill. If you're out collecting those cans, you can say that now and mean it, because who knows what you might find in the next dumpster or wherever it is that you're looking. I know aluminum cans don't pay a whole lot, but you never know what God's going to do. Something in our nature is like, when my ship comes in, when I have all my ducks lined up in a row, when I retire, what if none of those things ever happen? Not to be negative, but what if they don't? Do what you can do today with what you have today. Do what you can do today with what you have today. That's a good word for the day. This afternoon, if you want to take a tour through the L2, shoot an email over. I think I got some mentoring sessions. I'm going to be jumping on a call Edward here shortly. But if you want to take a tour, because you can walk through the aisles of the beta test. You can look at every single alert. You can go back and look at the charts and just replay it in your mind. But unless you are a Logic member or a passport holder, you can't get into the private areas. But I'll take you on a little tour and give you an idea of what's happening, how it works, what's going on. Just got to let me know that you want more information. And I'm not going to try to close you at the end of the I should, I guess, but I spent a lot of my life closing a lot of deals, and hey, I know what we have, I know the value, and if you don't see it right now, then I don't want to try to convince you it's right for you. I want to wait until you reach the point where you see it's right. And then I'll commit to you everything that I have. Knowledge, tools, whatever you need. Everything a trader needs under one roof. And we have teachers. It's a staggering statistic when you think about it. Futures Magazine published that so many years ago. 9 out of 10 traders, in their quest to become consistently profitable, fail, blow up, give up, walk away. And if they really wanted it, and if they really had a teacher who would teach them step by step, there's a high probability that more than 1 out of 10 would make it. In fact, our numbers prove that when a person has a teacher, that you can do better than 1 out of 9. So, give me a shout. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.